bless everyone out there in Radio Land. This is Barry and Karen coming to you live from uh, Destined Dare to Be Different today. God bless everyone. She monitoring it. So by the way, we're gonna start the intro again because we doing this on audio also. So we're gonna do it one more time. All right. God bless everyone out there in Radio Land. This is Barry and Karen coming to you live from Embrace Marriage Ministries and Dare to Be Different podcast. We thank God for you joining us once again, and for another stream and for another podcast with us. So we're just here to kind of just minister a word to you today. We're gonna try to be as brief as we can, but then, like I say, if we get some participation, we'll be able to minister to someone. So if you're joining us and you need to share, or you want to receive a word, then let us know, because we're here to be a blessing to you. Now, hello, wife.
Hey, husband.
This is my wife, Karen. We've been together 22 years. Will be this year 22 years, and we love one another, even though at times we get on each other's nerves.
Yes.
I think that's just a part of it, to be honest. I think that a lot of people don't realize that that can happen. But tonight we're not doing a marriage one. We're going to be doing just so, like I said, just ministering the word, just to kind of encourage you on this day, because we want to make sure that you're encouraged. Our Dare to Be Different podcast is basically just our means of ministering to you and to encourage you and just walk with God, or just in life in general, but especially in walking God if you believe in Christ. So where we're going to be talking about today is going to be talking about our subject. If you probably already have seen it, I hadn't seen it come on my Nightbot yet. He's doing funny things sometimes, but let's see if it's in my chat so y'all seen it. Yep, there it is. Okay. So it's oh, it came with an old one. Oh God, this thing is stupid. But anyway, our actual topic, that's not our topic. Our actual topic is long enough in this present situation. That's our actual topic. We're going to be talking about an event that happened in the life of Moses and the life of Israel, which was out of the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 1, 6 through 8. I'm be reading from the English Standard Version, which reads, "The Lord our God has said unto us in Horeb, Ye have stayed long enough in this mountain. Turn and take your journey and go to the hill country of the Amorites, and to all the neighbors in the Arabah, in the hill country, in the lowlands, and in the Negev, and by the sea coast, in the land of the Canaanites, and Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land that the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them and to their offspring after them." The key phrase that I want to focus on is, you have stayed long enough at this mountain. You've been in this place long enough.
Right.
And the reason why, to give you a little background of this particular case, the book of Deuteronomy was I guess you could say, Moses' last will and testament. This was the last book that Moses written, He had written the first 5 books of the Bible, this one being the last one before his passing. He was given a recount of all of Israel's, God's faithfulness to Israel, and he also gave recounts of their rebellion against God. So he talked about how God had brought them out of Egypt and how he had brought them through the wilderness and how he had fed them with manna and how he had fed them with meat and how he had dealt with their disobedience and gave them water out of the rock. And then he talked about himself, and then he talked about how they did wrong and how they had murmured against him and how they did all these different things and how they lost their lives and built the golden calf. He went through the whole scenario of all the 40 years. The reason why, and a lot of people say, well, I've heard a lot of people ministered on this message, and they talked about how that the trip between Canaan and Egypt was a 3-day journey, and a 3-day journey turned into a 40-year journey. Why did it take them 40 years to get there? It's because the simple fact is that just because they came out of Egypt in one night doesn't mean that Egypt got out of them in one night.
Exactly.
Because they had been in this place for so long that they had come accustomed to the way that things were where they were. And that's the reason why a lot of people get stuck in the situation where they are, and they stay so long that they become comfortable in the places where they are. One of the things, so how they ended up is in the book of Numbers. They ended up in Numbers 13:25 and 14:14 is the scriptures that give the account of Israel, how they ended up in the wilderness in the first place for 40 years. Because really, honestly, God has set them for the journey to take them that 3-day journey, but they ended up murmuring against God because they did one thing. When he had given them the command to go, they complained and they murmured and they said that God has brought us out in this wilderness to kill us, how he and our children are going to bear the brunt of it, but they got spied. The spies went and checked it out for 40 days.
Right.
Joshua and Caleb was among the 12 that he sent. He sent 12 men to spy out the land. They took them 40 days to do it. They came back with a report. 10 of them said that the land was good, but see, that's a lot of times when you get in with people, they say, hey, that's a good idea, but they okay, but that dream sounds wonderful, but
Right.
You always have people that's going to put a but on the end of everything that you say, and that's what's keeping a lot of people from going forward, is because they make the decision that I'm going to trust in the but, and it sounds funny. They're going to trust in that but instead of trusting in what was said before it.
Right.
So what's after it, once you say but in a sentence, especially if you're giving you could say that her that lady is nice, but her shoes ugly. You just eliminated whatever was ahead of that but.
Right.
Because the only thing you're going to focus at is what's after it. And a lot of people, that's what they do. They focus on what's after that. They don't focus on the fact that, hey, maybe what we seen. See, they didn't look at it like Joshua and Caleb did. Caleb and Joshua looked at it as, okay, God told us that he going to give us that. We're looking at it like, okay, y'all bringing back biggest grapefruits on a pole, the land of Eshcol, which means large grapes. I guess that's how they figured it out. They bringing it back. 2 men bringing it back on a pole, big on the oranges. I mean, like biggest grapefruits, grapes, and they still. All they heard was the giants in the land, that the sons of Anak in the south, that they couldn't be, and they was about to see, and they couldn't be beaten. There was grasshoppers, and they were grasshoppers. We were grasshoppers in their sights, and we were grasshoppers in our own sight. They didn't see themselves as victors. They still saw themselves as slaves. How can we, as a slave, nation, a group of slaves, go in and take a land from people who had been there from eons and centuries. These guys been there since Ham. So how in the world are we gonna go in and take something that somebody else has been established on? How are we gonna do that? Because God said so.
That's it.
God told them that this was their land and that this was their place, and it's time for them to take their journey and go and possess it. And they made a decision that they were not doing it. So God was upset. So what he did, he said, because of the bad report and because of the fact they refused to move, he told them this: for every day that the guys were in there, you're going to get a year. So they were in there 40 days, stay in there 40 years. You're going to circle this mountain.
Right.
They circled Mount Horeb for 40 years. They went in a circle for 40 years.
All because they believed the bad report.
But only because they believed the wrong report.
Because the big thing about it is what they believed.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they did have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, that's right.
They had a choice where they could have believed the good report.
Yeah.
Or the bad report.
Exactly.
And the bad report what got them the results that they got.
That's right. And that's what he basically said. It's because they didn't believe him when he told them to go. They decided, well, hey, we're gonna believe what they said, and we're gonna stay right here, and we're gonna mourn our situation. And a lot of times when you're in a situation, as long as a lot of people, they start with that instant regret. That's good. We're going to use that one, instant regret. So the thing is, one of the things that you have to realize is that God is not going to bless you if you decide to not trust him.
Yes.
I'm going to drink on that.